reentry journey, what would be one word to describe this journey?
Heartache.
Enriching.
Gratitude.
Unapologeticness.
Hope.
Elevating. Passion.
Resilience.
Consistency.
I say transformation.
Determination.
Intention. My word is compassion.
Rebirth.
Intentional.
It's bigger than just walking down your probation and parole. It's changing your mindset, your lifestyle, and never returning to prison again. It's the reentry journey with Cardell Sims.
All right, man, we are back with another episode of the Reentry Journey. I am your host, Cardell Sims. Man, I just want to say before I get started on this episode, before we even get started, I just want to say that this is a very important episode for me because my guest today was actually in my program on the Inside Reentry Academy. One of my programs that I go in the institutions and we work on personal development. I actually seen this guy make his vision board, and I seen him walk out of prison and doing exactly what's on this vision board. And so, man, it makes me happy every time I see him. I see him on Facebook killing it. Every time somebody asks me, I say, man, Mr. Ruffino's out here killing it. So with no further ado, I'd like to welcome to the Reentry Journey, Mr. Michael Ruffino. Welcome to the Reentry Journey, Mr. Ruffino. How you doing this morning?
Great. Thank you, Mr. Cardell Sims, for having me. I'm super excited to be here. A little nervous this morning starting off, but boy, talking to you beforehand and other people have really calmed my nerves, and I'm super excited to share my story.
Oh man, it's no need to be nervous, man. Like I said, man, I'm excited that you're on. From being one of my students to seeing what you're doing now, it keeps a smile on my face every day. And at the rate that you're doing it, you know, you ain't come out doing no faking. You know, and that was always one of the things I used to say in the class. You can't come out doing no faking. You got to get right to it. So let the people know where you're from, Mr. Ruffino.
Well, I'm from St. Louis. I grew up in North County, St. Louis area. I currently live out in St. Charles, which is just a bit west of St. Louis.
Okay, and what was life like you growing up? What was life like for you growing up? So
I grew up with 3 brothers, and I'm the oldest, and I have one sister who was born late in life, and we're exactly 20 years apart, and she's amazing.
Oh, man.
Yes. I graduated high school. I went to Hazelwood Central High School. I went on to do a little bit of community college and then went to school to be an X-ray technologist, which was a 2-year program. I graduated that in '97, practiced radiology for about 17 years.
Wow. And what was the everyday life as in the radiology field? What was everyday life like in that field?
It was the best feeling going to work, knowing that you would literally make a difference in somebody's life by not only helping them by providing a service, but in the later part of my career, I worked in a specialized field called interventional radiology, where we worked with patients that had strokes, and I would assist the neuro doctor and retrieve blood clots out of the head and cure the patient and not only help them, but sometimes save lives, which was a great feeling.
Right. And was that something that you always wanted to be, or that you wanted to be growing up?
I have an uncle that was an X-ray technologist, and he was he was a radiation dosimetrist. He went on to be, which worked with cancer patients. So he was kind of
what's a radiation? What's that? Radiation? What you say? Radiation dosimetrist?
Yeah, and if he's watching or watches, I don't know exactly what he does, but I believe he gives the measurements of radiation for the doctor to provide to cancer patients.
Oh,
his treatment plans.
This is all new to me. So now I got another question. So, what does the radiation? This is just a question. It may not. It had nothing to do with reentry. What does the radiation do for the cancer?
It pinpoints the cancer and kills it. They've got a
Okay.
new technology. It's called the cyber knife, which basically zeroes in on the cancer. So it's another form of killing the cancer besides when people get what do you call it, the chemotherapy, which is a poison that they're giving through the bloodstream.
Okay. And so, how did you go from doing what you're doing in radiology and end up going to prison? And I mean, you don't have to go into great detail. I mean, just how did that come about?
Well, in 2014, I was in the throes of a divorce, and it affected me in a way that I never would thought of happen. It took me into a mental breakdown, took me into levels of depression and anxiety that I didn't know existed. And I tried to deal with things on my own, got involved in some criminal activity, hurt many people emotionally, and ended up committing some crimes. I got probation for those, and then I violated my probation shortly after that. Got involved in some criminal activity.
Okay, and so was there a certain pattern that started existing once you started going through your divorce?
Yes. Like I said, I went into a mental breakdown. I had multiple attempts to take my life, which was really scary. And like I said, I tried to deal with things on my own. I didn't reach out to others, share my feelings. So I just went down a very destructive path and caused some catastrophic events.
Did you during this and in this process, did you ever see yourself like, man, I keep doing this, I'm gonna go to prison? I mean, I done got probation. I'm still acting up. So did you see prison for yourself in the near future?
Yes and no. And as this is titled, Making the Right Choices, I always think that right choices might not seem to matter that much in the moment. Usually it's the repercussions of those decisions that have an impact on our life. And sometimes it takes getting to those. And now I'm very much more proactive and thinking much more in advance about those repercussions is what prison has taught me.
Okay. And so when you went to prison, was that your first time going to prison?
Yes, sir.
And what was that experience like? You first time, what transit did you go through? 'Cause when I first started going to prison, which was I ain't gonna say they might tell my age now, but that was back in the early 2000s. There was only one transit at the time. Everybody went to Fulton. So, which one did you go to?
I went to Fulton. Yes, sir.
And so what was that? What was that experience like for the first time for you?
Well, I'll tell you this: when I was riding from St. Charles County Jail in a van stuffed in with about 10 other people, the officers that were driving us played a song. This is going to be the best day of your life, and I'll never forget that song. It's just stuck in my head. And so when I got there, the process of stripping this out and spraying all that lice spray, it was really, really a horrible feeling. But I realized at that time that the process had started and I had to get through it. And I just stayed positive. And then shortly after that, I ran into the whole prison thing about sitting at the wrong table when I was eating in the diagnostic.
What was the first stop? And that was a diagnostic?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I sat at a gentleman's table, and if you remember Fulton, when you're in diagnostic, they rush you in and out pretty quick. So I did everything I could to find a seat. And so on the way back to our house, he wanted to fight over me sitting at his spot. And I said, really? I said, you really want to fight over that? And I turned it really positive. I turned a negative into a positive, and he rethought that process, and we didn't end up fighting. And the guy next to my room was his best friend, and I kind of shared that with him, and he talked to him, and we became friends. And I did 6.5 years in prison, and that was the only problem I ever had.
And at that moment, what with you being able to be like, hey man, you trying to really fight me? You turned that negative into a positive. What was that you said that at that moment that you seen in yourself?
I thought I can get through this time. I didn't know how long the journey is going to be, but I knew I was changing. And not that I was a fighter before, but I knew that I could encounter or overcome any situations like that were to come my way.
And so what was the everyday schedule or routine for Mr. Ruffino during the 6 years?
Well, so when I left Fulton, I went to Algoa in Jefferson City. And day one, when I got there, I went out and got a job as the law clerk in the library. And it really wasn't the job I wanted, but I knew that I wanted to work because of my work ethic in the past. So I got that job and worked there about a month. And then I found my ideal job as a chapel worker. So I got in the chapel, and my whole entire 6.5 years I had a job. I always worked. So I stayed busy with that and continued that great work ethic.
And did you use like the work to kind of pass your time?
I did. And then by working in the chapel, kind of segue to other opportunities, furthering my leadership by being involved in Celebrate Recovery. I became I've always been Catholic, so I was a big had a role in the Catholic community as the designated group representative. So that was exciting. And I did a lot of speaking, so I furthered my public speaking and became less shy to speak in front of people and more confident.
And you only had been to, in your whole 6 years, you only been to Algoa and St. Joseph?
Correct. Yes. January 2021, I was transferred to St. Joe.
Okay. And was there any major differences in between those two institutions?
Absolutely, yes.
What would you say would be some of those differences?
Well, I don't want to downplay the Department of Corrections, but
you ain't got to speak on downplaying the Department of Corrections.
I noticed
we ain't gonna talk bad about them.
A lot less organization at St. Joe. The chapel wasn't as involved. It didn't involve offenders as it was at Algoa. But once I arrived there, I knew that I was there to continue change in my life. And I got involved, as you know, in the therapeutic community. I would say within about 4 months, I got accepted into that. So I moved.
And for those that don't know what the therapeutic community is, explain to them what the therapeutic community is.
Of course. So it anywhere between 6 to 8 months, depending on what kind of pace you get on, you start by taking classes that are offender led. And once you graduate the program, you can facilitate classes and become a mentor to others to keep them on track. And of course, continue to better my leadership skills.
Okay. And so with you currently, currently being released, so over the past 6 years, you seen guys come inside the prisons You've seen a lot of things happen. What do you think are some of the most problems that those on the inside are having when it comes to incarceration?
Number one thing I saw was lack of ambition. I believe it's very common and very easy for people to get comfortable there because they don't have to pay bills. It's very easy to not have a job there. And I firsthand witnessed many people, not only on my wing, but in my room, that constantly laid in the bed and didn't get up. And I tried to motivate people. Of course, that we know that people have to want to change on their own. We can't change others. We can inspire and motivate and
That's
support
right.
others.
And support others. That's right.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I'll give a shout out to my man DJ and the I'm So brand, because that always represents what I do on a daily basis: inspire, motivate, and support others. So it's that is very important. And you said some very key points, because me being incarcerated, you being incarcerated, we've seen people just lay around, not doing nothing with their time, or they're not doing nothing to prepare for their release. And then on the outside, you see a lot of people that criticize how institutions are ran and this and that. But you don't never hear no one really stepping up to the plate and saying, "Well, my loved one is in there, ain't doing nothing anyway with themselves." You know, um, how important was it for you to take programs and get in especially get into that therapeutic community?
Extremely important. It was top priority. Um, I not only continue to segue from my leadership skills from the chapel at Algoa. Chaplain Jeffrey Anderson there was amazing support for me. He gave me an ample amount of opportunities. And then when I got to St. Joe, the staff over the therapeutic community was an amazing support for us. And then I took on a job to work in restorative justice and worked for the most amazing woman, Jen Modine. She was the IAC there. Loves offenders. Will support them, help them, motivate them, as long as they show the ambition and the want to. So
Yeah,
I had
most
an op.
definitely. I definitely want to give a shout out to Miss Jen Modine, because she's the one that believed in me,
Yes,
gave me the opportunity to come to the board and pitch my program, and fought hard, day in and day out, to get my program inside the institution. She was the first person inside of any department of correction, state, federal, or whatever, that gave me the opportunity to even pitch my program. And from that point on, we fought tooth and nail, and she opened up a lot of doors, and she been a great help and a big supporter. So I definitely want to give a big reentry journey shout out to
yes,
Miss Jennifer Modine.
me
Um,
too.
I can't wait to get back to work and continue working with her at WRDCC. She does amazing work there, so that I most definitely give a big shout out to her. And so,
So I
why
wanted
restorative justice?
restorative justice. Okay, so let me back up a bit. When I first got to Algoa, I thought it was most important to work on myself, my mental health, stay close to my faith, and work, as I said, work on myself, better my leadership skills, and really dig into the effect on the victims. I took ICVC, which is the impact of crime on victims. I took many classes there, Inside Out Dads. So I worked hard on myself. Once I transferred to St. Joe, I thought it was time to, at the end of my journey, to really start giving back to society. I wanted to repay my
Mm,
debt. Um, so I did work release, as we talked about before, for about 4 months, and I just didn't think it was for me. I've got a great work ethic. I didn't mind working out there, but I wanted something deeper and to do something better. And that's when Jen Modine gave me the opportunity to be her clerk. and work for restorative justice. And from that point, we just dug deep. She put me in charge of the garden. I did amazing things in the garden. I led the garden. I grew the garden. I made a lot of hats in the therapeutic community that we donated, stocking hats to society, homeless people, children, and just raised a lot of money and helped facilitate fundraisers and implement those. And just really enjoyed ending my journey giving back. And as I get out here in society, I continue that and help in a community garden periodically when I can.
Mm. And so let's talk about the transition of you getting released. Before you getting released, what was one of the main, what was the top 3 things that you was focused on upon getting released?
Number one, I knew I wanted to start my business as a painter. So I dove deep into writing a business plan. I went through this amazing class on the Inside Reentry Academy. I did a vision board. I don't know if you know the guy that leads that.
Yeah, I think I know him.
Okay. I did this amazing vision board here, which, of course, I brought with me home.
That's right. You got it upside down.
Oh, I did. I'm sorry. I sure did. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I made that up, and I followed that, and I've got quite a few things knocked off on there. One of the things I really prepared myself was to get back into my daughter's lives, because that's a touchy subject right now, and I'm just giving it time. I'm not pushing it. I'm not forcing it. And I knew when I was in prison there and getting ready to leave that I couldn't push it, because I know forgiveness is not always easy. At the time, it feels more painful than the wound we suffered to forgive the one that inflicted it. And yet there's no peace without forgiveness. But that person has to know that and figure that out on their own. We can't force forgiveness, and I'm not. So getting medical checkups, I had to think about all that. Parole stipulations, I had that on the mind. And I'm happy to say I had very few parole stipulations. One of those was a mental health program and anger management class that I knocked off before I left there. So I'm happy to say all my stipulations have been completed. So that's a good feeling.
Yeah, I bet that is a good feeling. And I know just from you being in the class, I know one of the biggest things that for you is to rebuild and repair the relationship with your daughters. And like I always tell you, yeah, that will take time. I always give the story about with me and same thing, maybe different situations, because I had to rebuild and repair relationships with my children. But on my end, it was me always going in and out of prison. So when I got out of prison this last time and I made this change and this transformation, and I was going to go do these great, amazing things, my children didn't believe in that and didn't, because only thing I showed them was something opposite. So it took me even to this year. Now I've been out 6 years now. So even still to this day, we still rebuilding and repairing. The relationship has gotten way better than where we was at, but it still takes some time to build and repair, and it might not go back fully to where I think or where I would like it to be, but I had to realize that I'm working on their pace.
Exactly. Yep. I like that.
And so
yeah. Can we talk about making the right choices, since that's what this labeled as? I kind of
making the right choices. Let's talk about making the right choices and why you chose that as your title.
Well, obviously I made the wrong choice. I made a wrong choice to go to prison. And we have to face our choices. So I looked at making the right choices and how that looks. And one of those things is I try to imagine myself 1 year in the future and where I'll be and what kind of choice I'll have to make. The next one is, of course, write down goals, whether it be a vision board or just writing them down. Identify at least 4 alternatives in the moment. You know, that can really help. And figure out what I don't know and not be afraid to ask for help. Because go ahead.
What was number one? I'm gonna put them in the chat because we got some visitors in the chat over here. So I'm gonna put them in the chat so they can be able to see.
Number 1 was imagine myself 1 year in the future on where I'll be.
Okay.
And how I will get there. And what choice I need to make to get there.
All right. What was number 2?
Number 2 was write down goals, or just have goals.
Number 3.
Number 3 is identify at least 4 alternatives.
All right.
And then next is
4.
figure out what I don't.
What was that, Mr.
Don't be
Ruffino?
afraid. Figure out what I don't know.
Okay,
Got
figure
that?
out what I don't know.
Because there's so many times that we don't know stuff, and you know how common it is to go to YouTube now to figure something out, and after you watch a YouTube video, you learn something. You know?
Oh yeah, YouTube University, YouTube and Google University. That used to be the base. Now there's AI University now. AI just taking them out the game. Chat GPT, and I use this AI called Claude. His name is Claude. Claude AI.
Okay. Yeah, nice. And then a few more I'd like to spit out is real important to me is be able to face my mistakes. Know that my past is my past, and I've learned from it, and I've taken accountability. And then last is seek out feedback. Get feedback from people.
And why seek out feedback?
Because I want to reassure that I'm making the right choices, and not only have a sense of accomplishment or not that I want people's what word am I looking for? Respect, I guess, but just a little. When you collaborate together, things work out well.
And do you just seek out feedback from just anyone, or you may have a mentor, or what?
People I trust. Yeah, I would definitely seek out.
Oh, I'm gonna keep it a buck and 100 with you.
Yeah.
Most definitely, I'm gonna keep it honest and tell you. We message constantly and consistently on a daily basis. I always say, well, I see you out there killing it. What did it take for you to come out of prison? And let's switch to the entrepreneurship, because we knew, this is what you want to do. What in your mind made you transition, say, from radiology and what you was doing just to the paint?
Okay. Well, number 1, while in prison, I stayed laser focused. I didn't veer off. I had books sent in on business. My uncle, Kent, out in Washington State, sent me a book on painting, being a painting contractor, and it just gave the download, everything I needed to know. I went to the library, seeked out business books. When I was at Algoa, I was fortunate to attend the Global Leadership Summit, which, for those who don't know what that is, it's a global leadership summit that is broadcast around the world. And Algoa was actually the first institution at that time to host it at their site. And there was only 40 offenders picked to go to that, and I was picked as one of them. And I got to hear some amazing speakers. And then playing many roles as a leader really helped me develop into this business, and writing that business plan, just putting it out on paper and having a roadmap. So for many of us, entrepreneurship isn't about owning a business. It's about owning our outcomes, taking control of our own success, and making choices about how we work, how we live, and how we want to make an impact on the world. And that's the goal and the path I'm on. Because I feel like I've changed many lives in the radiology field, and I want to continue doing that as a painting contractor.
And so what did it take once you got out? What did it take for you to take these goals, these plans, this knowledge, this vision board, and everything that you've been doing for the past 6.5 years while incarcerated? You know what I'm saying? You've been preparing for this moment. But what did it take for you to actually, once you got out, start manifesting what you wanted to do?
I'm going to say it real short and sweet. Just get out there and do the work. I got in my van. I had a few supplies. I started networking on social media, and I got jobs. And as you develop,
and Mr. Ruffino's being a little modest. He got jobs. Every time I look up, Mr. Ruffino is hit a new deck, painting a new room, painting a new house. I know I'm at least seeing 3 or 4 jobs. So I'm like, Mr. Ruffino is out here killing it. But the key for you to do that was just get out here to get to it.
Get to it. Make people happy. Do good work. Show up on time. Good communication. Clean up well. And from that point on, it's easy as word of mouth. Passing.
Do you think if you was one of the guys that you seen laying around in the bed, would you be able to come out and do what you're doing?
It would be very difficult, but doable. Anything's possible, right?
Right. That's right. And so what's next for you, Mr. Ruffino?
Well, I wanted to say this phrase that I believe you shared with me in class. And it's really important. My mistakes don't define me. They might just help design me.
Yeah,
and they have.
Definitely.
Yes. So what's next for me? What's next for me? Continue working hard, working for a goal to get back into my daughter's lives, and just being a good person for society, and just proving to everyone that I'm a changed person. Yeah. So I want to take a second to give a few shout outs here, if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So my mom and dad have been my biggest support. Amazing. And that's who I'm currently living with. I've got some amazing aunts and uncles, cousins, brothers and sisters. My Uncle Keith has been amazing. And my girlfriend, Lauren, she is amazing support. She's always there for me. She calmed me down this morning when I was nervous because I reached out and shared my feelings. And then Chaplain Anderson at Algoa, he was the one that got me on the path to really wanting to change myself for the better. When I got to St. Joe, I worked in the chapel for a short time. Chaplain Sykes there did amazing things for me, gave me great opportunities. And then again, Jen Modine, the IAC there, just topped it off and just really expressed to me, when I get out, take it slow. And I think you shared that before. And I did just that. That first week, I wasn't in a rush to go to work or anything. I just wanted to acclimate back into society. I wanted to get out and see all those rising prices. And I did that because they sure have changed. Yeah.
Mr. Ruffino, I'm really proud of the work that you did on the inside and how you transitioned to doing it on the outside. In order to be a good mentor, you have to have a great mentee. And you're doing exactly what you said you're going to do. A lot of people, we've been on the inside. We heard a lot of people say what they're going to do when they get out. I was a victim of that, running in and out of prison. Oh man, when I get out, I'm going to do this, do that. Never was prepared, and the only time I actually prepared myself, I never been back. You came out prepared. You have great people in your corner, which is good. And sometimes we think of uh, reentry obstacles as one thing. This has been my newest thing right here. It's not no one shoe fits all, because reentry is based on individual,
Yes.
what they got going on. I can get out and have a strong support system. Like let's give you for example, you can get out, you have a strong support system. You have a great place. You know what I'm saying? You got a place to stay that's a healthy household. But some people get out of prison, yeah, they have an address to stay, but the household is unhealthy. And that's gonna lead them into going back being incarcerated. So you got great support system, a healthy household, a transportation, you know. And some people say, "Oh, well, Mr. Ruffino's journey on reentry is not going to be that hard." But there's other things that you deal with that has to do with reentry that may be an obstacle to you, and that major one is rebuilding and repairing the relationships that you want with your daughter. And the reason why I say that is because I want people to see that reentry is just not reentry obstacles is just not housing, transportation, support system. It's other things as well. So even for someone who's coming out of prison and may have those base things, there are other obstacles that we have to overcome and deal with to get where we ultimately want to be. Um, and I think, it's important for you to remember that. I think it's important for everyone that's tuning in to know that. Uh,
So
I applaud you for sticking to the plan
thank you.
and listening not just to me, but like Miss Modine telling you to take it slow, because I know how easy it is to have. I always used to tell you all in the class, you got to trust the process. If you go out there and do the work, all you got to do is trust the process, because it's easy to have the vision board. The hard thing about the class is to have a vision board and want to get out there and manifest it all in 1 month or 1 day that you're out.
Very
I got these big dreams. I wanna do all this in 1 day, and then but the reality is you have to take your time and work each step on the vision board. So always remember that. Just take your time and trust the process. If you had any advice for those on the inside right now, or someone that is on the outside that may be going through some of the similar things that you went through that led you to prison, what would that advice be?
um, find that person that you can trust, that may be going through similar things like yourself, and reach out to them. Don't be ashamed that you're struggling. Um, be open and express your feelings, and I guarantee it will help, because
Mm.
you might just find that one person that you open up to. Just by listening, that person may not even say anything to you, but by just you talking and voicing it will give you a chance to really think about that. Because I've been told that before. I've been told that maybe I'm not the best listener, but some people tell me, I just need you to listen. I don't
That's
need you
it.
to. Yeah, no, some people don't need you to fix them. Like I said, if you can just talk like I'm talking now, boy, this has helped tremendously.
Well, I'm always. I know I be busy. But I'm always. Anytime you ever need to talk, you just want to have to talk. I'm always. You already know. We ain't even got to say nothing. Like, you already know.
Yeah.
Um, because I know how important that is. Because I didn't have that when I got out this last time, so I had to watch videos on YouTube like Dr. Eric Thomas, all these different videos just for that motivation, just to kind of continue to push on to the day until I found that mentor. Until I built that group of people that I can really turn to and speak with. Um, you always say you want to give back, and and you might not want to talk too much about it, or go into detail about it, but you approached me about a possible nonprofit thing that you want to do. You want to kind of give a little bit on that?
I definitely want to connect my painting business with doing something for children that have family in prisons. So I'm actively thinking about what I can do, and I know I've expressed to you about my thoughts, and I would love to implement that. Because when a family members incarcerated, I believe the children are incarcerated too, right along with them. You
That
agree?
is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
So that's my goal. And of course, I want to be on the road with you, whether it be Missouri, going back into prisons and sharing my story, just like I'm doing here, and what I've done inside and outside. If I can go in and change one person's life, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I'm working hard to get something set up, man, because I'm really eager to get you in and get you on the tour and get you back in. I think it'd be amazing. I know what you got to give. I know your leadership potential, and I know the work that you've done on the inside. And now that you're out, the work that you're doing and putting it in. And putting in. So, as soon as I can get my man to get back with me in Missouri, and we get these things set up, then we're gonna be in there. I might have to this time around. I might have to work it from the inside out. Might have to start getting some emails and start having people go to the reentry coordinators at the institutions and request a tour. Man, we keep hearing about these tours. We need to get it here. So they can say, give Cardi a call. Let's get them in here. But it's gonna happen. Yeah, it's gonna happen. Just trust the process. So I always ask before we leave, before we get off. I always ask each and every one of my guests the same question. Everybody that's been on the reentry journey has answered this same question. And this question it's always the last question I ask. It is, if you had one word to describe your journey up to this point right now, what would that one word be and why?
The first word that comes to mind, and Chaplain Anderson taught me this, is to really think about it when you do those one-word answers and don't just spit it out. But this is what came to mind: motivating. Why?
Why motivating?
I have motivated a lot of people while in prison. I was able to motivate myself, become strong, and that's where it led to being able to motivate others. It wasn't always successful, and then along with that, I inspired people, and that really helped. It was very common for me to be approached by officers and said, "Mr. Ruffino, you don't belong in here." And I agreed. Maybe I didn't, but I deserved to be there. But I got complimented on a lot of staff just by the work I put in and motivated and what I did in there. It didn't go unnoticed.
And so if they want somebody in the St. Louis area, in somebody in Missouri, Mr. Ruffino said he's gonna travel for the right price. If they want to book you for your painting skills, there it is right there, Ruffino's Painting. If they want the Ruffino's Painting, where do they go to check out the work? Where do they go to contact you, possibly book me?
Well, I'm on Facebook at Ruffino's Painting. I just had a website go live, ruffino'spainting.com. So you can get all the information on there. All my contact information's on there. And you can just tell me that you saw it on the show here, and I might just give you a good price.
And that's ruffino'spainting.com. And hit him up on Facebook. telling you, Mr. Ruffino's out here putting this work in, fresh out, and he's been working, grinding. He's been sticking to what he's doing. He's been utilizing his mentor. He's been utilizing his support system, doing everything that he's supposed to do. I'm proud of you, Mr. Ruffino. I know I keep telling you this, but I am. Every time it puts a smile on my face every day, and I go to my Facebook and I see you doing another job. And the before and after pitch, and I'm like, man, Mr. Ruffino out here killing it. He's out here killing it. So continue to kill it. We will get you on this tour. We're gonna get another tour here in Missouri to get you on, to get your feet wet, so you can see how the process goes, and then build the relationships with your PO, so we can get the passes for you to go out of state with us and hit some institutions. But continue to do what you're doing. Continue to be great. Continue to inspire. Continue to motivate. Support others. I wish you nothing but the best. I'm happy. I'm proud to know you as your mentor, as a student of the class, and as a brother and a friend. Anything you need, any way I can help, anything I could do, you already know. Reach out.
Yes, sir.
And those of you that's tuning in from Missouri, forget it, all over the world. Mr. Ruffino travel. We're gonna be taking Ruffino's painting worldwide. You're in New York, LA, Miami, the best of the best. Book Mr. Ruffino.
You're gonna have
he'll be there. What'd you say?
You're gonna have me painting the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, we want it. We want it all. We want it all. But no heights to what we can do. But continue to be great, Mr. Ruffino, man. I appreciate you coming on as a guest. Thank you for everybody that's tuned in. I want to give a shout out to Giovanna for eliminating every excuses. No excuses. And remember to inspire, motivate, and support others. This is another episode of the Reentry Journey. And for those of you that's tuning in on the inside, like I always say, don't let the limitations of your background reduce the height of your potential. Outgrow what you were born into, and don't let this does not define you.
Cardell, can I end?
It designs you.
Comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I want so real quick. I got released on July 17th of this year, so I haven't been out too long. And as you said, I accomplished a lot. But I'll end on this note. I thought 2023 was the year that I got everything I wanted. Now I know that 2023 is the year I appreciated all that I have.
And there you have it. This is another episode of the Reentry Journey. I'm your host, Cardell Sims. My guest, Mr. Michael Ruffino, and we're signing off. Until next time, we'll see you later. It's the Reentry Journey. What will be the Reentry Journey? What would be one word to describe this journey?
Heartache.
Enriching.
Gratitude.
Unapologeticness.
Hope.
Elevating. Passion.
Resilience.
I say transformation.
Determination.
Intention. My word is compassion.
Rebirth.
Intentional.
It's bigger than just walking down your probation and parole. It's changing your mindset, your lifestyle, and never returning to prison again. It's the Reentry Journey with Cardell Sims.